I remember growing up and was mesmerized by Len Bias,
Yeah.
this incredible power forward that just took over when he was on the court. And I remember seeing you say, because I didn't know this, that when he went up, and he went up many times against Michael Jordan, he outscored Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he passed away like this. Of all the sports you had ever seen, all the athletes you've spoken with and you've interviewed, did that have a real kind of lasting impact on you? It certainly did on the audience.
When I was working the morning at WMAL doing sports, and I got a call from a guy at Leland Hospital, and he said to me, Mr. Holliday, I think they just brought Len Bias in with a heart attack. So I called my boss, and he said, okay, get in the car, go right out to the hospital. So I'm driving out, and he passed away. Then they told me, don't go to the hospital, go to the University of Maryland. I walked into school, and down the hallway, here comes the chancellor. Here comes the athletic director. Here comes Lefty. I mean, they're all coming down the hallway with just the shock, blank look on their faces. And you could have heard a pin drop. And I'm thinking to myself, this can't be, that he could not have had an overdose, not Len Bias. No way. No, because he was a specimen. Not only could he score, he could jump out of an arena.
Right.
He was that good.
Yeah.
That good. And then the tough thing was his mom calls me and says, Len would want you to be the vocalist at his funeral. Can you sing? I said, Mrs. Bias, I can't do it. Can't do it. And she said, you sing in theater, don't you? I said, yeah, that's different. She says, please, for Len. I'm going, oh my God.
Wow.
So I was up in the loft at the Memorial Chapel, and I got through the Lord's Prayer. Toughest thing I've ever had to do. And when you're singing that song, you think about a lot of things just to get you through the song.
Right.
And I got through it and then started crying my eyes out. And as I looked down, Mrs. Bias is walking behind the casket, and she goes, and that was it for me. Toughest thing I ever had to do. And he was such a nice kid. I was there when he signed to come to Maryland at Northwestern High School.
Wow.
He would always be available for interviews. He never big-timed anybody. And just a tragedy. But as his mother says, his death has maybe prevented other kids from experimenting one time with drugs. And she says, look at my son, the great athlete he was. And cocaine or any other drugs does not seek out just because you're this or that. Anybody can take it and boom, you're gone.
Yeah, that was a tragedy. I remember at the time, shocking. And as a fan of the sport of basketball, we missed out.
Look what it did. Look what it did to the program too.
Yeah.
I mean, the program just came to a screeching halt for years.
Yeah.
It took to get back to normal.